Hello, it's so good to see everyone. I'd like to begin by welcoming you all to the first South Asian Womanhood and Girlhood Conference at Loyola University. My name is Dara Puvar. I am the conference coordinator here, and I'm also a senior at Loyola University, so it's really been a blessing to be a part of this inaugural event. And I would like to begin today's opening ceremony by introducing our conference core committee chair, Dr. Shweta Singh from the School of Social Work. So please give her a round of applause.
Hey everyone, it is awesome to see all of you here. It's really great that we have so many people supporting this first conference on South Asian womanhood and girlhood. It's my pleasure and privilege to welcome all of you. You know, for a long time, South Asian women and girls have had a lot of people speak for them and about them, starting from patriarchy, poverty, parenting to the world. I'm glad that all of us are here, women from South Asia, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, Burma, Afghanistan. It's just really amazing. So I'm hoping that the program today, you have your programs with you. It is a really fantastic program, great speakers, great performances, great food. I hope all of you have had a chance to have some breakfast, and lunch will be later. So without much further ado, I would like to start the opening by one of the key people who has supported this event for us. And it's only a woman who can support other women the best, I might say. May I please welcome Dr. Susan Grossman, Interim Dean of the School of Social Work, Professor, as our first opening speaker. Dr. Grossman has a huge body of research. Her main calling is evaluation, and she's an amazing dean.
Oh, thank you, Shweta. Thank you. I told Shweta when she asked me to give the opening remarks that I felt a bit like an imposter. So since clearly I'm not South Asian, and this isn't my focus of research per se, but I'm very excited to be here today. And it is my sincere pleasure to welcome you to this first, and I hope first of many, South Asian Womanhood and Girlhood Conference, and to the campus of Loyola University Chicago. We were just talking about what a beautiful campus this is. The School of Social Work is located at the Water Tower campus, so we're a bit further from the lake. We have to make more of a conscious effort to get to the lake. And it's lovely to be here and to look out the window and see this gorgeous view. So I'm Susan Grossman. As Shweta said, I'm the interim dean of the School of Social Work, and I am very honored and excited to be here today for this unique and timely conference. As I said, South Asian women is not my area of expertise, but I've been very involved in research, policy, and program development relating to the needs of women from diverse backgrounds for many years, and I look forward to learning more about the experiences of South Asian women and girls as a participant in many of today's events. Also, Loyola University Chicago and the School of Social Work are really committed to the cause of diversity and social justice. In supporting and sponsoring this event, we're privileged to highlight the issue of cultural competency in our work. Immigrants bring new knowledge, and we live in a global era where this kind of exchange facilitates tolerance and assimilation. Ethnic identity is so much more than just demographics. Support of diverse Chicago communities is an essential part of the ethics and mission of Loyola University Chicago. And it's my hope that through endeavors like these, we're able to reach out to the diverse Chicago community. By focusing on women, we feel that this event is able to enhance the community as a whole because, as Shweta eloquently put it, women and girls of all backgrounds are the leaders in this century. It's also important for me to acknowledge Loyola's community of scholars and students who are a key component of the Loyola community. Their support of this event is obvious in their presence on the planning committee, which they've been very active in, and in their participation today. More than anything, it's my hope that the intellectual engagement that will take place today and that will happen after the conference, growing out of it, will allow the conversation about South Asian women to go beyond the stereotypes of thinking about yoga and talking about violence. Rather, the varied and extensive contributions of women from this community can be recognized and validated. I'm also aware that Diwali is about to begin. I think it's Sunday, that is the first day. And I was sort of reflecting on that, thinking about, here I am, a Jewish woman in a Catholic university, talking to many people who are Hindu about a holiday that's about to happen that's important to their faith. So let me say, for those of you who celebrate this beautiful holiday, which I discovered is much like Hanukkah and is referred to as the Festival of Lights, I sincerely hope that this is a meaningful way for you to celebrate. May I express my sincere wishes for you to have a happy Diwali. Thank you very much, and I hope you'll enjoy this conference.
Thank you, Susan. Our next speaker is Dr. John Pinsons. He is a lecturer in the history department and also the director of the South Asian program. Our second speaker, Joe, is not able to make it due to some last-minute concerns, but we have John right here, and he's been doing some amazing work right here on Devon Avenue, archiving our history.
Thank you, Shrita. Hi, I have I think a few more comments to make than Dr. Grossman, but with that in mind, good morning to all those here this morning in this Lakeshore campus at Loyola University Chicago. My name is, right as already said, is John Pinsons. I'm an advanced lecturer in modern South Asian and global history and the director of the Asian Studies program here at Loyola. And I welcome all of you here today and tomorrow morning as we, to quote from the conference website, quote, explore from a diversity of perspectives the lives of South Asian women and girls in both South Asia and the diaspora, end quote. And the title of this conference about South Asian womanhood, and girlhood situates the foci of our diverse explorations on the substantive suffix hood, a referent to a state or condition. And in this specific case, hood is a referent to the state of condition of women and girls in South Asia, in the South Asian diaspora. In general and global terms, the condition of women and girls, South Asian or otherwise, is one predicated on gender inequality, regardless of race, class, ethnicity, religion, and nationality. In the case of the state of women and girls in the South Asian region, as well as to a different degree in the diaspora, we can reach a degree of consensus by generalizing about gender exploitation, oppression, and inequality in a highly differentiated geopolitical region in which socioeconomic inequalities are some of the worst in the world. However, if we were to read most any mainstream news source in South Asia today, we would be subjected, excuse me, to the ongoing saber rattling between India and Pakistan. We would read about the continued state of conflict and that of foreign occupation in Afghanistan. We would read more about the attack on liberalism and secularism in the politically wrought state of Bangladesh. Or we would read about the failure of the Sri Lankan government to come to terms with its human rights violations that ended the decades-long civil war. On the other hand, if we were to pick up a copy of the Bangladeshi English newspaper, the Daily Star, we would learn that Bangladesh leads South Asia in gender equity in comparison with that of its neighboring regional nation states. And of the 144 countries analyzed by the World Economic Forum in their 2016 Global Gender Gap Index, Bangladesh came in halfway at 72. India came in at 87. Sri Lanka at 100, and Pakistan, unfortunately, is second from the bottom. At the bottom is that of Yemen. Missing, however, from the Daily Star's report celebrating Bangladesh's lead at decreasing gender inequality, at least in relationship to its regional counterparts, not reported is the fact that Bangladesh fell from 64th place in the previous 2015 index. But what does the World Economic Forum report then on the global gender gap measure? Or how does it in fact measure, how shall we say, the gap? And the primary indicators measured in the annual reports include 4 sub-indexes and 14 indicators, and I'll tell you at least what those sub-indexes are, or include that of economic participation and opportunity, educational attainment, health and survival, and lastly, political empowerment. With that in mind, then, the region of South Asia, at least in its greater sense, is comprised of 8 countries with a combined population of 1.8 billion, nearly half of whom, nearly 1 billion, are females, living in a geographical area nearly half that of the United States, or even that of the People's Republic of China, and a little larger than that of the 28 EU countries. 22% of the global population lives in one of the 8 countries of that of South Asia. South Asian nations contribute 2% to that of the global GDP and 1.3% of global trade. And South Asia is home to half of the world's absolute poor, living on less than $2 a day. And 35% of South Asians in urban areas live in slums, one of the largest of which we have in Mumbai. So too in Karachi. The region has at least estimated some 400 million poor people who live at least in the conditions of poverty under $2 a day. And in absolute terms then, with that of the criterion of $2 per day, more than 80% of the population in India, Bangladesh, and Nepal arguably would be considered living under conditions of poverty. 73% in Pakistan and 41.5% in Sri Lanka. According to the World Bank, some 500 million, in fact it's nearly 600 million people live on under, in fact 1.25 a day. More than 44% of the developing world's poor. But with that in mind though, we do see some more, how shall I say, brighter statistics nonetheless. That is, the proportion of poor is lower now in South Asia than at any point since 1981. And thus, despite the gloomy picture I seem to be painting here, one must admit, though, to the incredible, though far too slow, improvements to the livelihoods of that of South Asian populations. Which leads me then here to introduce a list of the issues confronting that condition of women and girls in South Asia today. Purda, child marriage, vatasata, dowry, honor killings, sexual assault, and other related violences against women and girls. Education, attainment or otherwise, literacy, health, employment, particularly that of workforce participation in the formal sector, women are underrepresented. That too of the role of environment in creating positive or negative conditions for that of the condition, or of the livelihood of women and girls, as well as their male counterparts. So to access to decent sanitation and hygiene facilities, as well to that of access to water. We also see other important issues that confront womanhood and girlhood, that of an urban-rural divide. So too, access to property rights. Only 20% of women in Pakistan and India have a bank account, by the way. We see other problems inherent too with regard to gender inequalities in the context of that of the South Asian region relating to divorce and alimony. So too with regard to that of access to food. The women are an important foundation in terms of that of the hearth with regard to providing food to what is, we see in the context, of nearly 20% of South Asians are malnourished. So too we can think about that of the relationship between that of workforce participation, education, and gender identities when it comes to that of the well-being in terms of that of economy and finances, and I already mentioned that of banking. Lastly, although not comprehensively or exhaustively lastly here in that list, is that of politics and the role in which women play in the context of political participation. With that in mind, at least in sort of bare statistics here, about 12% of the seats in Indian parliament are reserved for women. Yeah, it's not very good when 48% of the population are women. Though we can compare that, though, to the seemingly backward, at least in terms of the state of its politics, of that of Afghanistan. 28% of that of parliamentary seats are reserved for that of women. It's a really strange dichotomy in that context. But what I have mentioned above, then, are some of the critical issues confronting South Asia, and in particular the livelihoods of women and girls, whose experiences of inequality are at the heart of the realities of development in the 21st century. So let us now board a direct flight, then, from New Delhi to Chicago, a mere 14 hours flight covering 7,400 miles. And on that long flight, we learned that some 3.5 million South Asians live in the United States of America. Nearly 1/4 South Asians live in Illinois, about half of whom live in that of the greater Chicago region. And in regards to the condition then of that of the South Asian diaspora in Chicago, we see or find similar stark differences in that of socioeconomic inequalities related to that of nation of origin, literacy, class, caste, religion, level of education, and other factors, including, and most importantly for this conference, gender. And as reported in the South Asian American Policy and Research Institution 2013 report entitled South Asian Americans in Illinois Making Data Count, gender inequities we see in amongst that of the South Asian diaspora are similarly reflected in South Asia are similarly reflected amongst that of the diaspora. Briefly here, before I conclude, in terms of education, more South Asian men than women in Illinois have a BA. Women earn substantially less than that of their South Asian male counterparts. And what makes the condition of South Asian women and girls more intractable in the context of that of the diaspora in the greater Chicago region is their continued marginalization, especially amongst communities and families with low incomes and low levels of education. At least in the context of greater Chicago, most of these are of Pakistani origin, by the way. So for the next day and a half, we will learn about, converse on, that of South Asian womanhood and girlhood in ways that will be enlightening, entertaining, depressing, and in the end, hopefully show the ways in which the participants, in their own ways, contribute then to the betterment and the condition of the livelihood of South Asian women and girls. Thank you.
Thank you, John. That was amazing. We were all enthralled. Without much further ado, let me call our third speaker for the opening ceremony, Chris Manning. He is the Vice Provost for Diversity in the Provost's Cabinet. He's right here. Chris, welcome.
How are you all this morning? I'm actually the Assistant Provost. Every time I do presentations, I get promotions. It's like, I did one the other day and they said Associate Provost, and so I said they need to start writing this down and actually sending it to the Provost's office. So some change will happen. I really appreciate being here. I really appreciate you all being here. My presentation is going to be real short, 2-3 minutes, if that long. But I think it's important. I'm a scholar of American history. I do 20th century American history, urban politics, racial formation, etc. So I'm not going to pretend to try to rattle off a bunch of statistics that I learned last night. That won't be super helpful. I did want to say a little bit about the value of diversity. Every study that's been done in business and in education has indicated that diversity makes for significantly better outcomes in everything that we do. In educational environments, in the business environment. Even if you look at the University of Michigan case, the Fortune 500 companies that testified on behalf of the University of Michigan's programs, they argued that diversity in academic institutions is essential to teaching students the human relations and analytic skills that they need to drive and lead in the work environments of the 21st century. These skills include the abilities to work well with colleagues and subordinates from diverse backgrounds, to view issues from multiple perspectives, and to anticipate and respond with sensitivity to the needs and cultural differences of highly diverse customers, colleagues, employees, and business partners. So, at this point, the value of diversity is no longer argued. It's like the global warming of people. There's still a few people on the fringes who want to argue about how it makes things difficult and hard to communicate, but those are whacks and cuckoos who don't have any studies backing them up. So what does that mean for us? I think what that means for us is that we have to be very cautious. If we have diverse environments with people who are coming from different areas of the world, but we don't take a close look at the circumstances of our sisters and brothers who come from different places, who have different circumstances, etc., and if we don't pay close attention to the circumstances of our fellow Americans, we can actually create more problems than we are helping. I'm sure everyone in this room knows the myth of the model minority, the notion that statistical evidence indicating educational attainment or financial attainment somehow puts Asians and South Asians in a category where their circumstances don't need close examinations. Everything's great. But we know that that's not true. We know that South Asian women suffer from higher rates of suicide in this country. We also know that they have higher rates of diabetes relative to their majority counterparts, especially during pregnancy. And the issue of domestic violence always looms large, both physical and emotional. So what do we do about that? Well, I guess what I want to say to you all is that these matters illustrate the great value of a conference like this one. For America to succeed, we need more than just the presence of diverse people. We need more than just being able to say that we have diverse neighborhoods, that we have diverse restaurants, that we have diverse numbers, etc. What we really need to have is a complex understanding of the many people who make up this great nation that we live in. We need scholars like you, folks who are brave enough to take up difficult problems, to pull them out of the darkness and shine a light on them for everyone to see, and for people who are brave enough to offer solutions. So really, that's where you come in. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, emotional heart and intellectual heart. I want to thank you for your presence. I want to thank you for your intelligence. And I want to thank you for your courage. The courage that it takes to care, the courage that it takes to stand up, and the courage that it takes to do something. So have a great conference. Inspire each other and do something. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Manning, Dr. Pinsent, Dr. Grossman, and Dr. Singh. So our next portion of our opening ceremony is going to be a performance piece. So I'll have to put up the projector for that. Okay, everyone. So I would like to introduce our performer for this morning. It is such a privilege to have Miss Asha Rowland here with us today. She is a Loyola student and a professional dancer trained in Bharatanatyam and belly dance. Having been exposed to other dance forms such as hip-hop, African, flamenco, modern, and ballet, Asha believes that dance is a means by which one can bring harmony, spread awareness, and invoke beauty upon society. Today, she will be performing a dance to a Sanskrit shlokam in Raga Malika set to Aditalam called Amba Shambhavi. It is a piece in praise of goddess Amba, highlighting the strength and grace embodied by her different forms.
Sinduraruna Vigraha Trinayana Manikya Mauli Spura Taranayaka Shekhara Smitamuki Abhinavakshoruha Panibhyam Alipurna Ratna Chashakam Raktodbhalam Vibhrati सौम्या सौम्या रत्नघटस्थ रक्तचरण ध्यायेत् परामम्बिका ध्यायेत् परामम्बिका ध्यायेत् परामम्बिका अम्बिका अम्बिका अम्बा शाम्भवी चन्द्रमौली अम्बा शाम्भवी चन्द्रमौली अमलाभरण उमा पार्वती
अम्बा शाम्भवी चन्द्रमौली अमला अपर्ण उमा पार्वती
काली हैमवती शिवा त्रिनयनी कार्त्यायनी भैरवी
काली हैमवती शिवा त्रिनयनी कात्यायनी भैरवी
अम्बा शाम्भवी चन्द्रमौली अमलाभरण उमा पार्वती काली हैमवती शिवा त्रिनयनी कार्त्यायनी भैरवी कार्त्यायनी भैरवी सगनिद सानिद सगनि सानिद नि सगस सगस निद बनि सनिद पगग पद नि सनि पद नि सग पग सग सनि सनिद पग सनि द नि ग सनि द गच्छ निद पद चग पद नि सा अम्बा मोहिनी देवता त्रिभुवनी आनंद सदायिनी अम्बा मोहिनी देवता त्रिभुवनी आनंद सदायिनी वाणी पल्लव वाणी वेणु मुरली गान प्रिय त्रिभुवनी आनंद सदायिनी वाणी पल्लव वाणी वेणु मुरली गान प्रिय लोलिनी
तकिट झम तत् तकिट झम तद्दित् तकिट झम तधी गिणतम तकिट झम तत् तकिट झम तद्दित् तकिट झम तधी गिणतम तक तधी गिणतम
takita jam tak takita jam tatit takita jam tadhi ginatum taka diku tadhi ginatum
ಅಂಬಾನು ಪುರರತ್ನ ಕಂಗಣಧರಿ ಅಂಬಾನು ಪುರರತ್ನ ಕಂಗಣಧರಿ ಕೇಯೂರ ಹಾರಾವಲಿ ಅಂಬಾನು ಪುರರತ್ನ ಕಂಗಣಧರಿ ಕೇಯೂರ ಹಾರಾವಲಿ ಜಾತಿ ಚಂಬಕ ವೈಜಯಂತಿ ಲಹರಿ ಗ್ರೈವೇಯ ಕೈರಾಜಿತ ಜಾತಿ ಚಂಬಕ ವೈಜಯಂತಿ ಲಹರಿ ಗ್ರೈವೇಯ ಕೈರಾಜಿತ ಅಂಬಾನು ಪುರರತ್ನ ಕಂಗಣಧರಿ ಕೇಯೂರ ಹಾರಾವಲಿ ಜಾತಿ ಚಂಬಕ ವೈಜಯಂತಿ ಲಹರಿ ಗ್ರೈವೇಯ ಕೈರಾಜಿತ ಸರಿ ಸರಿ ಪ ಮ ಪನಿ ಪ ಮ ಗ ಗ ಮ ರಿ ಸ ಸರಿ ರಿ ಸ ದ ನಿ ಸ ರಿ ಸರಿ ಪ ದ ನಿ ಪ ಗ ಮ ದ ನಿ ರಿ ಸ ರಿ ಸ ನಿ ಪ ಮ ಗ ಮ ದ ನಿ ಸರಿ ಪ ಗ ಗ ಮ ರಿ ಸ ನಿ ರಿ ಸ ದ ದ ನಿ ಪ ಮ ಮ ನಿ ಪ ಗ ಗ ಮ ರಿ ಸ ಮ ಟಿ ಸ ನಿ ಪ ನಿ ಸ ನಿ ಪ ಮ ಗ ಮ ದ ನಿ ರಿ ಸ ವೀಣಾ ವೇಣು ವಿನೋದ ಮಂಡಿತಕರ
धड़क गुतक धिंगिण तुम तरि त जम तकिट तकता दी न तुम त धन त जम तकिट तकता दी न तुम त तरि त जम तकिट तक धन त जम तकिट तक धिंगिण तुम तक दिक्कु धिंगिण तुम
ವೀಣಾ ವೇಣು ವಿನೋದ ಮಂಡಿತಕರ ವೀರಾಸನ ಸಂಸ್ಥಿತ ವೀಣಾ ವೇಣು ವಿನೋದ ಮಂಡಿತಕರ ವೀರಾಸನ ಸಂಸ್ಥಿತ ಚಿತ್ರೂಪಿ ಪರದೇವತಾ ಭಗವತಿ ಶ್ರೀರಾಜರಾಜೇಶ್ವರಿ ಚಿತ್ರೂಪಿ ಪರದೇವತಾ ಭಗವತಿ ಶ್ರೀರಾಜರಾಜೇಶ್ವರಿ ವೀಣಾ ವೇಣು ವಿನೋದ ಮಂಡಿತಕರ ವೀರಾಸನ ಸಂಸ್ಥಿತ ಚಿತ್ರೂಪಿ ಪರದೇವತಾ ಭಗವತಿ ಶ್ರೀರಾಜರಾಜೇಶ್ವರಿ ಶ್ರೀರಾಜರಾಜೇಶ್ವರಿ ಶ್ರೀರಾಜರಾಜೇಶ್ವರಿ
Thank you, Asha, for your mesmerizing performance. Thank you, everyone, again, for being a part of our opening ceremony. Please feel free to enjoy some more breakfast, and we will be setting up for our opening plenary panel.